Hey guys, today we're going to be using this Sculpey lightweight oven bake clay, okay? I got this at Michael's. It's a really wonderful type of clay that's very lightweight, and for this project I felt like it was the best clay to use, okay? So the first thing you want to do is base paint your stainless steel cup. You want to base paint it with an acrylic base paint, okay? You do not want to spray paint it and then put spray paint in the oven because we are going to be baking this project, okay? So you want to do a acrylic based paint, okay? And then you're going to get your rolling pin and your clay and you're going to roll it out, all right? These little flower cutters and flower press silicone molds I purchased from Michael's. I will have the link in the description of this video, but they're really great for making all types of different roses, etc., okay? Or any type of flower, really, lilies, whatever. Okay, well, once you put your clay inside your press, you only press onto this silicone mold to make sure that the impressions, all the ridges in the mold get on the clay. All right, then you're just going to peel it off and then you're going to apply it to your cup. I want to say that your clay does not need to be super thin. The thinner your clay is, the more difficult this project's going to become. So this is a thickness that worked for me, okay? And you're just going to apply it to your cup. And you're going to get some type of tool, some type of something that you can work with, because you're going to need to press this into your cup without messing up the indentions. All right, so I'm using this little tool, or I'm probably going to use several, and I'm just going to start pressing and rolling and trying to, right where the lines are, pressing it into the cup. Okay, I'm going to continue to do this all around the cup. So I found that this was a very easy tutorial based upon the clay that I'm using. All right, I did this twice prior to the one you're seeing, and the other two times, once I used an air dry clay, which worked, but the cup was very heavy. All right, very heavy. The second I used Sculpey original clay, and I found that that was very difficult because it kept falling apart. Okay, this clay is really nice to work with for a lot of different projects because it does stay put, and also you know, it blends in nicely, as you can see. All right, I did wound up getting some clay adhesive from Michael's as well, and you'll see that I go ahead and add that just because I had bad experiences with the Sculpey original, and I just wanted to make sure that when I put this in the oven it didn't come apart. Okay, one thing I will say is you're going to need to watch out for your fingerprints and your touch, because when you are applying this onto your cup, you know, naturally you want to press it in, but when you press it in, you're losing the indentions, and that's one of the beauties of this tutorial. Okay, so you're just going to continue to make petals. You can go ahead and make them ahead of time, and then you'll be able to just go ahead and add them to your cup. Okay, and what I did is I did an over under kind of method, and I just continue to do that. Wherever there was a space on the second row, I went ahead and added another layer of petals, and all the way until the last row. Another thing I will say is you want to pre-bake. So you'll see me after I do this first row, I'm going to pre-bake this. All right, and that was for like the package said 275 for 25 minutes or something like that. My oven gets really hot, so I chose to do it at 200 for 20 minutes. and that was fine because I was going to be baking this multiple times. It worked out fine. I just kind of tested it and, you know, to see if the petals moved. So you want to pre-bake it. I wouldn't suggest going and doing this entire cup and then putting it in the oven. I would suggest row by row, just going ahead and putting it in the oven. Another suggestion I would say is after each row, you probably should go ahead and paint it. I did it the hard way. I went ahead and, you know, did the thing, and then I went ahead and painted it at the end. Okay, but it was hard to get into all the nooks and crannies, and so I would suggest after you bake each row, go ahead and paint it with your acrylic paint, no alcohol ink, okay, because you can't put it in the oven if you use your alcohol ink. Okay, but other than that, guys, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys watch this process, and if I feel like there's something else that I need to tell you, then I will come back in. Okay, this is the clay adhesive by Sculpey. Okay, so I decided to do an ombre for this flower. I think I'm just gonna kind of call it my fantasy flower because I'm still not sure what kind of flower this is. But I'm just using different colors of like complementing colors, if that makes sense, like a peach, a pink, and like a purple. I'm basically just going to go all the way around and kind of ombre it out. I am using like a matte paint. I found that the matte paint gave me a better coverage. And I'm just going to continue to do that all the way around, all the way until I get to the top. I'm going to do the under and over parts of the petals. And again, if you guys did this like I told you in the beginning, you won't even have to really worry about anything but this bottom part. Okay, but just really get creative with it. You know, think of some color combinations you would like to see, and then just go ahead and paint it. Okay, so the kit comes with the cutters, the flower presses, and leaf presses. So you're going to repeat the same process. I do apologize for being out of frame, but you are going to roll out your clay, and you're going to use your leaf cutter, whatever leaf you decide to use, and you're going to cut out your clay, kind of the same thickness that you did for your petals, and then you're going to put it on your leaf mold. And then use your rolling pin to press it down so you can get some of the indentions. And then I went ahead and cut the clay in half. I didn't need a big leaf, so I went ahead and cut it in half. And I went ahead and once I cut it in half, the part of the leaf that is inward, I went ahead and painted that ahead of time, so that way I didn't have to worry about trying to get into all the nooks and crannies. Okay, and then I added it to the cup, to the bottom of the cup. I went ahead and added it all the way around to the bottom of the cup, and I used the back of my brush to kind of roll and press it in there very good, and then trimmed away any excess so it's nice and clean on the bottom rim of the cup. And then I was good to go. I let this bake in the oven one last time, and then I was ready to epoxy it. Okay, you just want to make sure before you epoxy, what I did and made sure was to make sure all of my areas were covered in paint, just so I wouldn't have to go back and do a lot of touching up. But other than that, guys, it came out really, really well. Okay, so you guys, Okay, so I'm using Counterculture's Fast Set Epoxy. If I'm gonna do this over again, I would go ahead and use their artist resin, you know, viscosity epoxy, or any other brand's regular epoxy. And the only reason I say that is because when using a fast setting epoxy, you have to work a lot quicker. And for this, you really want to make sure you're getting in all of the nooks and crannies so that every petal is covered. Okay, and with the fast setting epoxy, you don't get to do that as easy, okay, because the epoxy starts to cure. But bottom line is, you just want to cover your entire cup in epoxy. I would suggest 2 layers of epoxy, and you can choose to add a little glitter. I again chose to add a little glitter for a little shimmer. You know, I didn't add a lot. I didn't want it to take away from the indentions and be too shimmery, but I did add just a little bit. And I'm just gonna go ahead and paint this, the whole entire cup, the part that's exposed, you know, the pink part by the top, the actual handle, the bottom, everything is getting coated in epoxy. And then being I'm doing this on my silicone mat, I go ahead and put my little turner arm inside, which I should have done beforehand, but I go ahead and put it inside the cup and then place it on my turner while it's curing. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much the entire tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this. This is the spring florals, and you know, these are not difficult to make. I would say, again, it's just going to depend upon the clay you choose to use. And you know, we have a lot of discussions about clay and what is the best, and that's why I tried out a couple different brands with this tutorial, because I'm like, okay, let's see how this works. In the past, some people have had really great experiences with Sculpey original, or Sculpey, what is the other one? I forget the other one, but people have really great experiences with them. But then depending on your oven, you put it in there and it may break. This clay worked absolutely great. I cannot say enough about it. It was about $11.99 or $10.99 at Michael's. I had a 20% off coupon, and it almost took the entire pack. I'd say I have maybe a 4th left, but I highly recommend, if you're going to do this tutorial, to go ahead and get this Sculpey Oven-bake clay. Okay, I know some of you guys even use it for your donuts, but yeah, just paint it on, and make sure you do take some of this epoxy and drip it in between the petals, just to make sure you're getting in the nooks and crannies, and then you are done.